Karen MacInerney, the author of the Margie Peterson Mystery Series, as well as the Dewberry Farms Mystery Series. When she's not toting children to or from activities, teaching writing classes, or hitting the hike and bike trail, you can often find Karen at her local coffee house working on her next book. She lives in Austin with her husband, 2 children, and a house rabbit named Bunny. Please join me in welcoming.
I always love finding out how people research. I have this fantasy that one of these days I'm going to write a historical novel, but I am not a very patient person, nor am I a very detail-oriented person, so that has not worked out. The type of research I do is finding ex-strippers and saying, so glitter, is that a thing? It's true in this book. So I'm actually going to read a chapter. I also have another series set in Maine called The Grey Woolen Mysteries, which is very nice and very tame, and so are those. And then people read these and they're like, Karen, I said, this is about a mom who's a private investigator. Her kids went to nursery school and she needed a little more money. So, you know, if you've been a mom for a few years, what can you do? Like dishwasher, kind of exotic dancers, probably up by then. Not what she wanted to do anyway, so she ended up in this job for a CDPI agency called Peachtree Investigations, working for someone named Peaches. So I said to someone once, and she ends up in all kinds of crazy situations. She's got 2 kids, Elsie and Nick, and Elsie has this fry phone that she's attached to that's always getting lost. And I said to someone, I said, man, this is just too close to my life. And someone's like, so you spend a lot of time, you know, in strip clubs? And I'm like, well, not that part of it. But my dad actually said it to me. And in the first book, I had the kid at nursery school and had an accident. And the only thing that they had available was like his sister's like pink plaid skirt. So he came home with like a pink plaid skirt. And my dad was like, this may be too close to your life. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And then my 3-year-old son walks into the room wearing Abby's pink floral skirt. And I was like, that same thing happened. I had already written that scene. Okay, maybe you have a little point. So anyway, the scene I'm gonna read today, it's always hard to like pick a scene. So I'm gonna read a scene. This is my character, I call her Margie, but the audiobook reader called her Margie. So we can call her, I'll call her Margie, but you know, officially it's Margie. I just think of her as Margie. Her name is Marigold, and her mom named her Marigold. She's just trying to be kind of straight-laced, so it's Margie, because that's a lot more normal. She is not normal. She tries to be normal, but it doesn't work out very well. I relate to her for some reason. I don't know why. So at any rate, she and Peaches are trying to track down, there's an infidelity case, so they're trying to track down and get some proof of what's going on. And so they end up at the Sweet Shop, which is a strip club in Austin. So I have to remember where I am. And she's just managed to get out of her Dodge Caravan, which is parked too close to the cars next door, so they had to use the sliding thing. So her t-shirt and shorts are covered with like all the dirt that she never washed off the Caravan. You know how that goes. So I'm going to start with them just getting out of the Caravan, which is parked next to my child is an honor student at Eames Elementary School, Toyota Corolla, I believe. My t-shirt now had a big brown splotch in the middle of it, and I was afraid to look at the back of my shorts. I hope I have time to change before the parent orientation, which is in 2 hours at the Catholic school, I must say. I grumbled as Peaches adjusted her cleavage and tottered toward the entrance in her cork platform wedges, which I happen to be wearing today. I followed in my sensible Nike sneakers and battered shorts. Next to Peaches, I was feeling a little like Cinderella in her pre-fairy godmother stage. I'd never been in a strip club before, so I didn't know what to expect when we walked around the partition into the main room. It took a moment for my eyes to adjust. The lighting was low, except for spotlights directed at the stages. There were 3 of them, a big one down the center of the room with 2 smaller stages flanking it. The center stage was currently occupied by a young woman wearing a hot pink bob, green and white striped stockings, and a very, very small apron. Strawberry shortcake, Peaches said as the woman wrapped herself around the candy-striped pole and then did a series of contortions that would have made the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team jealous. Wow, I said involuntarily. I had no idea pole dancing could be so athletic. And lucrative, Peaches said, pointing up to the men crowding around waving money. But someday she's going to need the cash for bunion surgery. Look at those heels, she said, pointing to Ms. Shortcake's 6-inch stilettos. Ouch. A few feet in front of Ms. Shortcake and her pole, a giant inflatable pool had been set up, and a waitress wearing pink hot pants and a bra with very small cupcakes for cups was selling cans of whipped cream to a line of men. You see him? Peaches murmured. This is the guy they're looking for. No, I said, although to be honest, I'd almost forgotten I was supposed to be looking. Over there, Peaches said, nodding toward the tables close to the main stage. Crumbacher, oh, where did I come up with that name? Crumbacher had sat down with two men in white shirts and jeans. We'll sit down a few tables back. I followed Peaches across the dark club to a table that was painted to look like a peppermint candy, and then sat down on one of the disturbingly sticky chairs. It's just beer, I told myself, trying not to let my skin make more contact necessary with the vinyl seat, and attempted a casual pose. You look like you're in church, Peaches said, leaping through the menu. Loosen up a bit. Right, I said, slouching a little. I said, loosen up, not pass out. She handed me a menu. Here. It's hard to relax when you're the only woman in here. Women in here, I muttered. What do you mean? There are women everywhere, Peaches said, pointing to the gorgeous African-American woman gyrating on the stage closest to us. She wore a pointed foil hat, thigh-high silver boots, and a sultry smile, and that was it. I turned to Peaches. Please tell me she's not supposed to be a Hershey's Kiss. Peaches grinned. You'll never think of them the same way again, will you? The waitress sashayed over before I had a chance to respond. Can I get you ladies something? 2 strip steaks, please, darling. Peaches looked at me. Medium rare, right? I nodded. And those 2 gentlemen would like to buy you each a drink, the waitress added, nodding toward 2 octogenarians in the corner. They bobbed their heads when I looked. Sorry, but I'm driving, I said. I'm not, Peaches said cheerfully. 2 Cuervo margaritas, please, and tell them thanks. Aren't you working? I pointed out. Supervising, she said. Besides, it's been a rough week. What's going on? Man troubles, she said. Tell me about it, I replied. But not now, I added as Marty and his buddies stood up and headed toward the back of the club. Where's he going? Why didn't you find out, she asked. I'll take care of the drinks. If you need to take a picture, don't forget to turn off the flash. That's been a problem in the past. I hurried up to Marty Crumbacher, trying to look casual and wondering if I might fit in better if I stripped down to my bra and panties. Not enough sequins, I decided. Besides, I already felt like a Budweiser Clydesdale in a room full of My Little Ponies. Exposing a few extra acres of post-baby stomach wasn't going to do anything to help me look like I belonged here. I hung back as Crumbacher and one of his friends walked down a pistachio green hallway and into a room at the far end. I gave them a moment before trotting after them and sidling up to the door, hoping they hadn't closed it. It was open about an inch. Glancing behind me to make sure no one else was in the hallway, I peeked through the crack in the door. I don't know what I was expecting, maybe a hot fudge and maraschino cherry-studded orgy featuring plum pudding and raspberry tart. But despite being in a strip club, Marty Crumbacher didn't look like he was into tarts. He was sitting at a table with 2 other men, and they were deep in discussion. I told you, it's out of our hands, one of the men said. We're waiting on a shipment. Without raw materials, there's nothing we can do but wait. Find another supplier, Crumbacher said, his voice cold and hard, and remarkably similar to his wife's, now that I thought of it. They made a pretty good match. I have deadlines to meet. But Mr. Crumbacher, the next shipment goes out next Wednesday. Figure it out, or I'll have to send thumbs to pay you a visit. I'd read about people blanching, but I'd never understood the term until now. The guy Crumbacher was talking to suddenly looked like a vampire and just sucked all the blood out of him. Whatever was going on here was weird, but not the kind of thing Mrs. Crumbacher was interested in. Would she be happy, I wondered, or sad that her husband wasn't getting it on with one of the bonbons from an X-rated nutcracker? Better get going, Crumbacher said, standing up and stretching. I don't want to miss shortcake. I turned to run back to the table. Unfortunately, I bounced off a nubile young woman wearing nothing but a cupcake wrapper as a skirt. She was accompanied by a jeans-clad man who was looking at her like he'd just spent 6 months on the Atkins diet and she was his first dessert. Can I help you? She asked, eyeing me suspiciously. Is the ladies' room back here? I asked as Crumbacher stepped back out of the room behind me. I flicked my eyes to him, and his locked on mine. I gave him a weak smile before turning back to the cupcake woman. You're in the wrong hallway, she said. These rooms are for private dances. As she spoke, the man behind her licked his lips. Thanks, I said and excused myself, hurrying away from Crumbacher. How'd you do? Peaches asked when I scuttled back to the table. Not so hot, I said. What do you mean? Well, he was meeting with a couple of guys, talking about shipments and somebody named Thumbs. Then I turned around and bumped into a cupcake lady, and he saw me. He saw you, Peaches groaned. First rule of private investigation, don't let them see you. She took a sip of one of the fishbowl sliced margaritas that had appeared in my absence and then said, he's looking at you. Great, I said. Hi there, ladies. It was the octogenarians. Don't mind if we join you, the taller one said, sliding into the sticky seat beside mine. His friend, who was like the little teapot, short and stout, only wearing glasses with lenses so thick I wondered if he borrowed them from the Hubble telescope. Pulled up a chair next to Peaches. Actually, I've not seen you in here before, Sugar, the man next to me cooed, sliding a skeletal hand onto my thigh. Ooh, he gave my leg a squeeze. Nice and plump. I like a woman with a little meat on her bones. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. Instead, I reached down and pulled his bony fingers off my leg, wondering how on earth this man had made it through 8+ decades of life without learning not to call a woman you wanted to sleep with plump. On the other hand, perhaps that's why he spent his Sunday afternoons trying to pick up women in strip clubs. I like your dress, purred the guy next to Peaches, switching to his reading glasses to get a better look at her cleavage. I like the way it matches your hair. Thanks, hon, Peaches said absently, taking another swig of her margarita. How come you're all covered up? Asked the man next to me. He was inching his chair closer and looking like he was considering making another try for my leg. His arm was covered in liver spots the size of chihuahuas. It was a little alarming, really. Have you had that checked? I said, pointing to one that looked a little like Darth Vader's helmet. It looks like it could be melanoma. See how the borders are irregular and it's darker at the top? If you'd like, you can give me a full body checkup. I've got another one right down here. He reached for his belt buckle and started to undo the clasp. Fortunately, at that moment, the announcer came on. Gentlemen, she purred, are you ready to have some fun? Liver spots tucked the tongue of his belt back in to my relief. And from the whistles and hoots that erupted around me, I was guessing the answer was yes. Even Krumbacher seemed to have forgotten about me. He was handing a wad of bills to the whipped cream salesgirl and tucking 3 cans under his elbow. Well then, head on down to the pool, gentlemen, and help Strawberry Shortcake and Banana Twirl kick off Whipped Cream Sunday. As we watched, evidently the lower whipped cream covered flesh was enough to distract liver spots from his campaign to show me his moles. Shortcake and Banana Twirl minced down the runway, their slick lips pushed into provocative pouts. Shortcake slipped out of her heels and peeled off her striped stockings one at a time, leaving her dressed in about 6 inches of green dental floss. Banana Twirl had a bit more to take off, and after slowly removing a bright yellow bikini top and a green scrap of fabric I was guessing was supposed to be a banana leaf, she took a provocative twirl around the pole, which resulted in howls from the crowd. Her signature move, Peaches said knowledgeably, as liver spots grunted in appreciation. The 2 women held hands and jumped into the pool together. Let the creaming begin, the announcer declared. The men who'd gathered at the end of the stage put the whipped cream cans in front of their belt buckles and began squirting the women as they slithered around in the pool. Why are they holding them like that? I said. Peaches gave me a look over. Did I write this? I know I have to Peaches gave me a look over the rim of her glass. Oh, I said, wrinkling my nose. They pay $10 a can so they can pretend they're. Do you know? Looks like it, Peaches said. I watched the men holding the cans at their crotches, including our friend Krumbacher, who was right at the front, and shuddered. Gross, should we get a photo? The men beside us, thankfully, seemed to have forgotten our existence and were staring slack-jawed at the spectacle at the end of the stage. The 2 women were writhing around together on the bottom of the pool. It looked a little like they were playing Twister, except they were mostly naked and covered in Reddi-wit, and Banana Twirl's G-string had slipped twice. It's not grounds for divorce, but it'll look good in the report, Peaches said. Show that we're doing something. You should go, I said. He's already seen me. First rule of private investigation, she repeated sternly. I'll go, she said grudgingly, but wave at me when the steak gets here. I don't want it to get cold. I agreed and sat back happily, scooting my chair farther from liver spots as Peaches headed down to the pool. She wove through the crowd of men, tugging her orange dress down over her thighs, and wedged herself into the crowd until she got a ringside seat opposite from Krumbacher. I guess she figured she'd have a better shot of him that way. She just positioned herself between 2 men in cowboy hats and pulled out her smartphone when Banana Twirl's head popped up from the tangle of ready-whipped limbs, a giant glob of whipped cream hanging from her chin. Hey, she said, wiping her eyes and squinting. I know you. She was looking right at Peaches. You're the bitch who followed my boyfriend around and took pictures of him at the monster truck rally last month. I don't know what you're talking about, Peaches said and took a step back, but Banana was advancing on her. You've got the wrong girl, Peaches protested as Banana stepped over the rim of the pool, leaving a dollop of cream on the pink carpet. Banana wasn't smiling anymore, I noticed. He lost $10,000 in workers' comp thanks to you. Peaches tried to back away, but the cowboys were blocking her escape route. Before she could find another exit, Banana Twirl had grabbed her wrist with a cream-covered hand and hauled her into the pool. It's always a little startling when you read what you've written. I wonder about myself sometimes.
Do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions for Karen?
Where do you get your ideas?
I have no idea. I think some of what I like to do is take two things that are as radically opposite as possible and like jam them together and then make it worse and worse and worse until it's to the point where I can't, how could it be worse? How could it be worse? How could it be worse? And I think it's the ridiculous of it. I mean, her sitting there and like looking at the actor, oh, you have lots of liver spot, looks like Darth Vader's helmet, we should get that checked. And I love that, I just love the juxtaposition of very different things and someone stepping out of the realm of comfortable for her, which is what I do every day, really, and trying something that's new. And I love funny and absurd things. I really do. I don't know why I always have. So, I don't know. I mean, some of it I come up with the character first, and then it just goes from there. And I think, what could I do to this character? She spends a lot of time going after a pig named Bubba Sue, too. And, Bubba Sue ends up being pignapped with, like, whiskey out of a baby bottle, because that's what they've got. And she eats her iPhone, and then she sounds like she's, just these crazy ideas just come into my head. I don't know. This is why I can't outline. Because, last book I was telling you earlier, like her blind date had a sock puppet, that comes up named Marshmallow. So she has to cut a steak and, I have no idea where that came from. I have no idea. But it just did. And then it went down on the page. I'm like, that's interesting. So I wonder what happens next. So it's really, how odd can I make it? I mean, that's what's fun for me. And how much worse can I make it? I'm like, gosh, how can I make it worse? Like Peaches being pulled into the pool. I didn't know it was going to happen. Beginning of that, but after she said twice that you can't ever get seen, I'm like, well, if you can't ever get seen in the first act, then Peaches has got to be, she's kind of bumbled, yeah. So she's.
I love the way you kept calling him liver spots.
Because sometimes I can't give him a name.
It was perfect, though.
Yeah, it was. So you've got to pick something that's like you can't say he because that's unclear.
But you identified the same guy.
Exactly. So you find like a tag and liver spots. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you. It was fun. It was fun.
That worked.
Yeah, but it's interesting. We were talking earlier about the challenges that I had to keep the mystery going in these books, because the humor is the most fun part, but you still have to have the mystery. But you've got to get the humor at the same time, and then you've got to get tension and scary bits, and it still has to be funny. So they're a fun challenge for me. But the structure is a little different than my normal mysteries, because I have to have, something happened in that scene. She found something out, but that's not what most of that scene is about. The most of the scene is showing you Martin getting in these ridiculous situations. So I almost did the pig napping. I was like, what the heck? We'll go for the sweet show. That's kind of fun. Nothing terrible happens. We allude to it, but nothing terrible happens. I'm sure I've broken 23 rules, but I'm good with that. Any other questions? Yes?
Have you ever thought of taking this into screenwriting?
It's so funny. I don't ever watch anything. I'm kind of weird that way. And I have thought about screenwriting, but I like it's all dialogue, screenwriting, and I really do like dialogue. And I've had people interested in this in the past. I've interested in a lot. Nothing's come of it yet, but I don't know. I'm like not a screenwriter by nature because I love the description that goes with the dialogue. And screenwriting is just straight dialogue. And for me, I'm such a reader. I don't read much fiction anymore, but I read. And some people are like, oh, you say you read all the time, and you watch TV. I'm like, dude, it's not a good thing. I need to be more in touch with things. It's just what I do. So, but I have thought about that. I think that would be a good scene. I think I write cinematically, because I write very descriptively. I think I write things that you can see, but I don't mean to. It just happens. So I'm not as much of a plotter. Every time I finish a book, I'm like this one, I had to take this book apart because the stakes were wrong. At the beginning, I'm like, there was something wrong with it. So I literally printed it out, cut it into scenes, and wrote on an index card what each scene was. And I'm like, what am I doing with this book? I thought I'd killed the wrong person. I hadn't killed the wrong person. I had just had the wrong suspect. So I just had somebody else's business card dropped on the body, which is the headmaster of Holyoke's Catholic school who was found. Oh no, this is the other book. I was trapped. Who died in this book? Do you remember? Did you read it?
I did read it.
Who died? Oh no, it was okay, it was the headmaster. Okay, I was trapped. Yeah. It is so bad because I was at a.
So many murders.
Well, it was. And I said, it was so funny. My son's in the back of the car one day. I was like, yeah, I killed 3 people today. He's like, really? And I said, yeah. What do you think I do all day when you're at school? He's like, but then Abby's like, we were sitting in Maine, and I was lying there, and I was like, you could kill somebody with Botox, but how would you do it? And then my daughter's like, oh, you could put it in like an inhaler. We're like in this beautiful garden. It's like, what if it's like an insulin syringe? I'm like, how many families sit in a beautiful thing and spend 20 minutes discussing ways to kill people? And he's like, I I love this game. Let's see, we killed someone with a power skewer, we did the X-Acto knife, we did poison. What haven't we done? So I'm so sorry for my children's future therapy. My husband always says, if anything happens to me, could it check out? Investigate. It wasn't an accident. So, any more questions? So, yeah, I would like to research, but I just think I'm too much of a dilettante. Thanks, it was so much fun.
Thank you.